At the height of the First World War, a secret telegram is on its way across the Atlantic. It has been written by a Germany on the verge of collapse and contains an extraordinary offer. The letter promises Mexico that if it attacks America in support of Germany, Germany will reward Mexico by letting it have Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. Today we will learn of this outrageous proposal, how it was uncovered, and what it meant for world history. This is Knowledge Voyage. In the later days of World War I, Germany was on a knife edge. Despite impressive military victories, it was still not capable of a knockout blow against the French and British. As long as supplies came across the Atlantic, the Franco-British would be able to last longer than their German enemies. To try and stop this, the Germans deployed the new invention of the U-boat to sink Allied shipping. In doing so, there was a risk of hitting American ships. If this happened, America, which was neutral, may enter the war on the Allied side, and with it, virtually guarantee German defeat. So Germany needed something that would help. Maybe something so big and so bold, it would keep America bogged down on its side of the Atlantic and too busy to intervene in Europe. And in January 1917, a top-secret telegram sent by Germany was intercepted by British codebreakers. The first word they deciphered was Zimmermann, an obvious reference to German Foreign Minister Arthur Zimmermann. The code was obviously important, but as British codebreakers went through the message, a highly unexpected word emerged, and that word was Mexico. British warships had severed Germany's undersea phone lines earlier in the war, forcing them to use radio signals which anyone could intercept. The secret message showed the Germans had a bold proposal for Mexico's government. Germany was offering an alliance with Mexico against the USA, and if the Germans won the war, Mexico would be richly rewarded. As the telegram made clear, in exchange for keeping America busy in war, Germany would award Mexico 3 US states: Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. It was an outrageous suggestion, but one the Germans hoped would tempt Mexico. Mexico greatly resented its Yankee neighbour, and 1/3 of Mexican territory had been lost to the US in war in the 1840s. This wound was still fresh. In fact, memory of that war was closer in 1917 to Mexico than the memory of World War II is to us in 2020. Mexico was a source of constant concern to America, given its frequent violent revolutions that threatened US business interests in the country and even threatened to spill over into America's borderland itself. Ever since 1910, Mexican rebels led by Pancho Villa had raided US border towns, and 80% of the US army had been tied up chasing these rebels through Chihuahua. If this was the level of distraction one small group of rebels could cause, how much more could the Mexican government with all its army allied to Germany cause? The British wanted to present the evidence to the Americans, but they had a problem. US President Wilson was totally opposed to intervention in war in Europe, and there were issues around giving him the intercepted message. After all, the British could simply be accused of forging it, given their obvious interest in getting America to join the war on their side. So to solve this, the British invited the US to view the intercept at the US Embassy in London, therefore allowing the US to present the intercept as coming from American sources. The Zimmermann telegram was bold, but once the secret was out, Germany realised it had gone too far. When news of the Zimmermann telegram broke, there was total outrage. Whilst the Americans had been outraged at the humanitarian level at the sinking of ships like the Lusitania, the Zimmermann telegram was far more personal. America was furious that Germany was threatening the US itself, urging Mexico to attack America and then carve up sovereign American territory. Most Americans had regarded Europe's war as a problem to be avoided, but by pointing a dagger at the US itself, the war could now be cast by the pro-interventionist side, not as meddling in Europe's self-imposed mess, but as a crusade to defend America itself. Public opinion shifted decisively towards intervention. The US government now swung behind the Allies decisively. Whilst America had tread a delicate neutral path until now, the German secret plan to attack America and carve up its territory showed undeniable German hostility. This meant war, and on April 2nd, 1917, President Wilson told a rapturous US public that this meant war with Germany. The Germans were now facing war with America, and Britain and France would soon receive massive US aid. With the Western Allies on the brink of collapse at that point, they would now be dramatically resupplied and revived. Germany, by contrast, would receive no such help, and there was worse to follow. On April 4th, 1917, just 2 days after America declared war on Germany, the Mexican government briefly but politely messaged Germany to decline their offer of an alliance against America, and so died Zimmermann's plan to distract America. The intervention of the US into the First World War was decisive, and with limitless supplies, Britain and France would not be beaten. American soldiers arrived in Europe and fought the exhausted Germans to surrender. Had it not been for the intercepted message, perhaps America would have stayed out of World War I, and the war may have ended with a very different conclusion. Thanks for watching everyone, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you.